Good afternoon. My name is Todd Broadhurst, and I represent Tamr and Tamr Government Solutions. We are a data mastering platform, also known as MDM, Master Data Management. And today we're going to talk about how Tamr can produce better health outcomes for the warfighter. So we are a human-guided machine learning software. We are cloud native as well as on-prem capable. We are in all the cloud marketplaces, and we are a go-through partner for AWS and Google Cloud. Our company is about 75% commercial, 25% public sector. We focus on, in the commercial side, Fortune 1000, and on the federal side, U.S. public sector side, state, local, healthcare, as well as large into the DoD. We come out of MIT Labs about a decade ago, and our founder is a Turing Award winner, Michael Stonebreaker. So what we do in a nutshell is we can decipher any information about an entity across thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of data sources. And those data sources can be enormous in size and unstructured, structured. They can be written in different languages, not only contextual, but also from different areas in the world. They can be very siloed. In the case of the DoD, they can have classification levels, but we can pull out any information about an entity, whether that in this case for a warfighter might be claims or hazards or other medications, service records. We can pull out all the information regardless of where that is about a person, about a specific location, a clinic, or an outpost, or a military post, or anywhere or any type of claim you want to look at. We are quite different than any other data mastering solution, which is why we are touted through AWS, Google, and Azure. We use machine learning. Our competition, which is few and far between, uses rule-based, which you write if-then statements and yes-no statements. The accuracy is poor. The process can take months or years to clean that data. We use machine learning to do human-guided machine learning. So in this case, it could be a clinician, a nurse, a corpsman, a person from the VA that is looking at that data about a patient or that patient's medical record. And we can improve the accuracy and analytics on those personnel by more than 90%. Once again, we can take any type of internal or external data source. We create what's called a schema map, which basically figures out everything you want to look for in an entity. So in a case of a patient, it may be every location they've ever lived in, all of their different names and different spellings, or that way it could be their 5 different relatives that you can track down, where their duty locations were, what their service record was. And we can take that and consolidate and classify that information. We use, once again, human-guided machine learning to do that. And we are usually downstream from analytic visualization tools such as Tableau, Power BI, Click, etc. And once again, we take a 90% typical failure rate into an 80 to 90% success rate on those projects. We do so because we clean and take care of the velocity and the variety of data that's out in the world. We are across the public sector, and we have done projects for the JAIC in the past. We are heavily in the Air Force, as well as across DHS and CBP, not only doing contract management, but also import and export trade. We work heavily in the intelligence community for cryptocurrency speculation, geospatial conflation, as well as anything from tank and helicopter parts to certifying stores under airplane wings so they can get to the warfighter faster. We're also obviously heavy into financial management. For DHS and a lot of other intelligence agencies, we help with identifying nefarious activities or personnel. And we're heavy into supply chain planning, and of course, legacy consolidation. So when you consolidate thousands of data sources, you can produce cleaner records. That's why we're utilized heavily in cloud migrations by moving everything that is good in the data to a new location, and helping with data analytics. But today, of course, I'm going to talk to you about how we are applied to warfighter health, and bettering that warfighter health. If you After the program, if you would like to go to Tamr.com or Tamr.com public sector, we have numerous articles and ebooks on how we do our next generation patient mastering. We have several white papers as well as articles in healthcare IT and government IT about the importance of unifying patient mastering data. And it's very important to us. It's a guiding purpose for Tamr. Our founder, not only Michael Stonebreaker, but Andy Palmer, came from the medical and pharmaceutical area. And we are very cognizant of the fact that in the commercial world, as many as 440,000 deaths a year can be attributed to errors in care. That those are largely mistakes that can be avoided. I was unable to find information about mistakes with warfighters, but even if it is a small percentage of that, it is important that we avoid those mistakes. Less mistakes obviously mean better care, means better medical transition, possibly. It means your ability to tie service records and conditional records together, all providing better care for the warfighter. So although this particular slide focuses on the spend, you could look at it as any type of treatment, any type of medication. For this example, there are clearly three different ways of spelling Guilford Joseph or Gil Isaac Joseph. Now, this is a very simple way to explain how Tamr works, but we can take this time and get all information about this Gil Isaac Joseph across millions of records, whether those are written by a military branch, a specific once again, wherever they were written, however they were written, whether they were even used as once a hard copy and OCR'd into a system. We can also scan that. So in this case, this G.I. Joe or Gil Isaac Joseph lived at three different addresses, or addresses that looked different, but it was clearly all the same person. He had different contact information, but maybe he didn't have service records in one. We are able to figure out, and regardless of whether there was a unique ID or a character ID, whether the languages were different, once again, whether there was invalid syntax, whether, like most information, a lot of information we come across was fat-fingered or mistyped, we can glean all of that information about Gil Joseph. So everything he's done in the entire, on the publics, on the state and local and the HIE, they call it kind of a cradle to grave or a journey map. We provide the journey map. And not only do we provide the journey map for that warfighter, but we can tell you where the holes are in that journey map and where to find that information in external sources. So, you can now figure out, if you have all the information about that warfighter and his time at duty, where he served, whether that service came into a specific thing that developed a trend with other veterans, where he was spending care outside of the military system, whether he was TDY somewhere and had to go outside of the system where those larger issues and trends might be, and how the spend, typically how we do spend, and how we track the proper care for that warfighter. So once again, we can not only take over and provide uh, a seamless combination of multiple data sources, which could be these prescriptions, it could be claims, lab results, doctor results, and different outside laboratories, whether that's outside EHR systems. Maybe he was a uh, part-time or reservist and had outside care with Optum or Epic or through Cerner or through a different HIE. We can also tie that to outreach and communication through different through the Navy or through Air Force, or different communication protocols through SMS, Facebook, HubSpot. And the true care is now that this warfighter has his complete record. There's no question of all of the different medications he may be taking, where he's been stationed, what's going on with his uh, complete service record, to once again provide the adequate care that our warfighters deserve, and to better streamline the capabilities and the delivery of that care to the warfighter, which is equally important. So I've talked largely about how we can do patient mastering and the patient specifically, but a lot of our work with the medical providers and some of the larger healthcare providers, as well as the pharmaceuticals, are around products and parts mastering. So think of the thousands of different pieces and parts that are in a hospital or care system. And in that, we can also do a lot of supply chain management, predictive supply chain management, and predictive maintenance on supplies, as well as giving you a holistic view of providers. So think across the entire medical profession, a military medical division or the DHA, being able to know exactly all the assets you have across all of your different buildings or offering areas to provide a better supply chain management and data mastering. And once again, of course, we are heavy into the cloud migrations. We're very good at mergers and acquisitions. And in the case of the federal government, when these new departments or agencies are either created or ingested into each other, we are a great source of combining that type of data, two different companies writing two different types of data into a usable format. Once again, not only do we provide almost 80 to 90% success rate using our product, but we also massively reduce the time needed to scale and look through uh, all of the data points about, let's say, a particular warfighter or patient. And so better information inevitably always leads to a better outcome, and a better capability to make a decision for that warfighter. We've been, although not as impactful on the DoD and the federal government, and perhaps for this audience, but both Forrester and Gartner have produced return on investments of well over 600% with our customers. That's not only increased productivity, decreased loss, but also improved usage of analytics personnel. And really, at the end, in closing, what we can provide you is an assurance that all your data is clean and curated before you want to visualize it. And so trying to just do data analytics or trying to do data visualization or trying to create any kind of holistic view of any entity, the warfighter or healthcare products or doctors, nurses, etc. You have to basically figure out how to clean that data, because if you're searching data that's dirty or redundant or misspelled, you'll never get the outcome that you need. And so in closing, that's exactly what Tamr provides, is this complete capability to take all of your data, internal and external data sources, whether that's, and once again, external could be Dun and Bradstreet, it could be Epic, Cerner, information from news feeds, and cross that over anything that you're looking to master, and in this case, warfighter. And the best part is, some people still are a bit afraid when you bring up machine learning. It's still a daunting kind of thought process. Ours is an enabling technology. So when I say a human-guided machine learning, in the case of the human-guided part of a warfighter health, it is most likely a nurse or somebody that knows what a prescription is and what a patient is and what you're looking for in that patient's profile. In the case of a helicopter part, it's an airman mechanic. In the case of a tank, it's probably the tank or the tank mechanic. And so this is a very enabling technology. We do not really provide services. It is a fairly turnkey software that you buy on subscription, and we show you how to ingest your data sources. This has been Todd Broadhurst. You can reach me at tamr.com, and I thank you very much for your time.
Hey, thanks so much, Todd, for that. Appreciate your time this afternoon and that of all the folks who have attended today and will watch this in the future. So as I mentioned at the top end, we will be providing Todd and the rest of our presenters with contact information for those who have attended not only today, but the original event back on the 27th, so that we don't lose any ground there. So look for that information coming from us here at Tradewin in the next couple of days. And also be on the lookout for our next event, which will be next week, where we do a reprise of the entire event and have yet another 50 member companies set and ready to present to the audience. So with that, we'll end this session. I've got a couple of outgoing remarks to make here in a couple of minutes, and that'll end the day. So thanks again, Todd, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody.